Hey everyone, I got to do some trimming horses today, winter maintenance throughout the winter. Try to trim them every 2 months just to keep their feet healthy, and thought I'd bring you along. Had a few requests from previous videos with Rhonda's sheep and the sheep hunt video to see a little more of the ranch and stuff, so maybe a little more everyday stuff is what people were saying they would like to see. So here's a short little video on what some of my weekends are like in the wintertime. So in the wintertime, the horse's feet are usually pretty hard because even though there's snow on the ground, it's frozen and it's basically dry. And dry feet makes for hard feet. And so you need sharp knives. I try to keep my knives touched up, maybe every couple horses. Some horses' feet are harder than the others. Got a little trick I'll show you later with my farrier showed me when the feet are really hard just to use a torch on the sole. But you got to be careful around the frog. Anyway, and that works too. So a couple knives to touch up and then we'll get started. So I'll take you through a full horse trimming, and just remember, I'm not an expert. I'm very amateur at this. I get friends who are experts and they help me out. My dad, my brother got me started trimming, and I trim all my own. When I need shoes or I need any specialty trimming, I take them to a friend of mine, John, and he's the expert. So just do my own trimming throughout the winter and in the summer with horses that don't have shoes on, but any shoes or anything, I take them to John. So here we go. I'll take you through the full horse. So I thought I would narrate over top of this video just to explain what I'm doing. First thing I got to do is clean the foot. Remember, this isn't a how-to video. This is just kind of explaining the process. And then I'm going to take the frog and trim it down. So there's lots of videos on there on YouTube about how to do this with better footage and experts that really know exactly what they're doing. So like I said, this isn't a how-to video, but got to clean the frog, and then down here at the toe of the foot, I'm just cleaning out the sole and finding the quick line. And on this particular horse, he doesn't grow a lot of heel at all, so I have to find that quick line, and then that will be the start of my trimming. I'm going to trim this frog here. I want to make sure it's not touching the ground or just barely touching the ground once I'm done. You can see just that little white line down there in between the trimmers, and that's what I'm trimming at, putting the nippers level on that sole and then making my way all the way around. And you can see I haven't touched the heel of this horse. He breaks his heels off and doesn't grow much heel, so other horses that are in the yard, they grow heel a lot better than this old horse does, and he does take a lot more maintenance because of it. So once that's trimmed, I'm just gonna flatten the foot out, and then, like I said, since he doesn't grow much heel, I'm gonna take as much toe down as I can so he stood up a lot better. And once that is all taken down where I want it, I'm going to carve the sole out on his foot, so there's a dish in there. It's called relieving the sole pressure, because I don't want him standing on his sole. I want him standing on the hoof of his foot. And this horse has really hard feet, hardest feet of all four that are in the yard. And then there's a little bit of sole or a frog that would be touching the ground, so I trimmed it back again. Now I'm looking down the foot, make sure I got it level, make sure it's square from side to side, and then again making sure that that frog isn't going to touch the ground and it's nice and cleaned out, especially in the grooves there. Here I'm taking some more sole out as well. Check and make sure it's level, and then once I set it down, I even make sure it looks nice and equal side to side. Now I'm going to rasp the outside off, shape the foot a little bit. Now if the person didn't do this, then the sharp edges would break if you stepped on some real hard ice or rock and chip the foot out. So this is a little bit of maintenance for that. And then you can control the shape of the foot a little bit just by maintaining that shape. The foot will grow in its proper shape as well. Have a look at the foot, make sure it's square, nice and even, and onto the back. His back feet are better than his fronts. He'll grow a little bit of heel on his hinds. So yeah, first thing again, clean the frog out. Trim the frog, all the excess growth. First part of trimming this frog is to really get it out of the way, also from the rasp. Once it's trimmed, and I do rasp it, I don't want to be rasping the frog, so I want to get it lower than that. And like I said, I don't want it the first thing touching the ground. It's got to be a little bit of space there once that foot is trimmed. So there I'm trying to find that white quick line. You can see it there again. And then the base of those nippers are flat against that sole. He is a little bit broke out on that side. You can see there just above the nippers. But not too bad. Just freshen up that heel a little bit. Don't want to take off too much. And then I'm going to take that toe down. Look down the foot, make sure it's straight, flat. And then the same thing here. Going to rasp off those edges and shape that foot a little bit. I work from one side on the front to the back, and then when I go to the other side, start on the front again. That usually makes the horses set up right to pick up their feet, and I'll go over that later with Rhonda's horse and show you that when you pick up a foot, you want them to have all the weight off that leg, or else they're not going to want to pick it up for you. So you got to make sure their feet are in the right position to pick up that foot before asking for it. And that's the same on the fronts and the hinds. Got to make sure they're set up. So understanding that is critical to having them want to pick up their foot and be good about picking up their foot. So there I'm finding that line again. You can see that white line down there at the toe, and that's what I'm searching for. And then I'm taking out some of the sole, because this, like I said, this horse grows a lot of sole. His feet are hard as well. This sole on this side is really hard compared to the others, but they're hard on all his feet. And I do use the torch on this one. You'll see it here in a little bit. And this horse's feet are hard all year long. Doesn't seem to matter, even on them rainy weeks. Sometimes in the summertime, I'll trim their feet on a rainy week, knowing that their feet are gonna soak up some of that moisture, and it's gonna be a little easier. And his feet are still hard. You can kind of see it on this angle how that horse grows a lot of toe. So rasp that down, make sure it's flat, and then I'm going to carve out the sole. You can see how hard that is. And I need to get quite a bit out of there to relieve that sole pressure, so I'll grab the torch here in a second and just give that sole a little burn. I think the way my farrier explained it, it kind of draws that moisture in that sole out, and it really does help. Grab the torch. And let's get it going. And heat up that sole. Don't want to heat up the frog at all. Just warm that sole. Use the moisture to the surface, and then grab my knife, and all of that I just touched up just comes right off. Same thing here. He's set up for his foot, and this horse is really good with his feet. I barely reach down there and he'll pick up his foot for me. Keep in mind, there was a lot of breaks in between, or 2 or 3 breaks in between cleaning the foot and then doing the frog and then trimming. Set the horse's foot down, give him a break, and more importantly, give me a break. So I just edited something to make this video shorter. So there is, I am setting his foot down in between all of that. Some of the real professionals and the horses that are really good, those guys, they can do all of that 4 times as fast as me and do it better and quicker. So here we are again. You can see he picked up his leg there for me without me even barely asking for it. same thing. Clean the frog. Camera angle's a little off here, but I think I fix it. I notice it, yeah. So I definitely need to sharpen my knives after doing this horse. Between the other three, I can usually get through all three without having to touch up my knives, but this horse's soles are so hard that I touch up the knives every time I start and finish with him. So if anybody is going to do this, I highly recommend buying good tools. This is a hard enough job to do itself, let alone do it with poor quality nippers or knives and nails. So if anybody is going to do this, of course, get some instruction, take a course, know what you're doing, be confident in what you're doing first, but if you are going to do it, buy good tools. So same as all the others, gotta relieve that sole pressure, make that sole into a dish so that they're standing on the hoof wall, not their sole, and that their frog is not touching the ground. But you don't want that frog too deep too, you want it to be pushed a little bit. So in a quarter rounds, I can reach in there with that sole and help take some of that out. Same thing, make sure it's flat. A little more off the toe, so touch that up. Now it's nice and flat when it's touching the ground. And you see I set his foot on the ground. And I'll go over that more here a little bit when I do on his horse and show you what I've been talking about there. Same thing, take them sharp edges off, shape that foot a little bit, and this horse is done. So there's one trimming done, and I won't bore you with the other ones, but I'll show you the horses and show you, you can hear there's more outside, but Max and Duke, they wait outside for their trimming, so might as well give him that. Hey Max. Oh boy. They usually come and wait at the door and get their trimmings. So yeah, one more to go. This is Brownie. He's the oldest horse. I think he's 23. And then Rhonda's horse is over here. Just got to do him last. Buddy or Bear or Buddy Bear. Anyway, quick little tour of the barn. 3 tie stalls, box stall, 10 by 10. Rarely use it, but it's handy to have when I need it. And of course the regular wheelbarrows and horse blankets. Pretty nice out right now. It's like +8 today. And then extra tack, a little extra feed, and then the saddles and bridles. So I did 4 today, 2 over there of a friend of mine who winters his horses here. I did them this morning. And then doing 2 more of ours. Mojo, I gotta do him yet. I might do them next weekend. 4 is enough for a day for me. And this is Cash. He's the youngest. And I'll do him next weekend too. So, a little tour of the place in the winter time. Just doing some winter maintenance. So I wanted to share a little tip with you for the amateur horseman that maybe doesn't know. Even if you're not trimming your own horse's feet, there's some things that you can do to make it better and easier for your farrier. It'll also make your horse better. So when you pick up a horse's foot, don't pick it up. Ask them to pick it up either by lifting here, and then they'll get trained to lift it up for you. And then also, and just practice that. See, I just touched him, he lifted it up. Now also, when you go to set your horse's foot down, don't drop it. Just set it on the floor for them, nice and gently. That will do a lot for your horse, especially for your farrier. He won't dread coming to your place. It'll make your horses better with their feet. You'll start trusting your horse more. Your horse will start trusting you. And just being soft with that, whether picking your horse's foot up and being soft putting it down, will also translate into your riding and your handling of the horse. They'll just get softer. The softer you can be, the softer they will be. So just a little tip for any of the real beginner horsemen out there. Even if you're not trimming your own feet, just get in a habit of picking up your horse's feet, and it'll help you out, it'll help your farrier out. So this is what I was talking about with getting your horse set up for picking up his foot. Here I'm ready to trim this horse, and he's not set up to pick up that foot. So I back him up a step, and then all the weight comes off that leg, and then I ask him to pick it up. Yeah, he picks it up easy, and then he's comfortable to stand there while I'm working on that foot. And it's the same with the hinds. So here I go to pick up that foot, and I realize all the weight is on that leg. So I go forward and I just ask him for that step back. You can see that foot start, all the weight come off that leg, and that foot start to come off the ground. Now he's set up to pick up that foot, and then I ask him to pick it up. I don't pick it up for him. So just practice that, get to know when your horse picks up his feet and when he won't. All right, thanks for joining me today. I won't bore you with the other side, but just thought I'd give the people that maybe don't know what needs to be done with horses' feet on a regular basis, every 2 months usually, depending on how their terrain is and how their feet is, and keeps them healthy, keeps them sound. So like I said earlier, I'm not an expert. When I need something done the expert way, I take them to the experts, but the experts have showed me how to keep a foot trimmed in a healthy way. So thanks for joining me, and catch you next time. Come here, buddy. Good boy. You want food? Good boy. Come here, Max. Good dog.